on a fateful day, September 15th, 2022.
Tell us about it.
I'll never forget the morning I drove to work. It was cloudy. It was kind of an ugly day. So I drove my car. On lunch break, the clouds parted, the sun came out, and it's just beautiful. It just was a beautiful day. So I was like, normally what I would do is I'd go home for lunch every day because I had a French bulldog. I'd take him out for a walk, midday walk, and hang out with him for a little while before I go back to work because I lived like maybe 5 minutes from base. So I go back, I go home to do my thing with my little dog, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ride my bike back to work. So I get on my Harley, drive to work, get to work, everything's fine. Now it's a Friday, and if anybody knows, is this thing called Dragon Family Time, with everybody gets off at 1500. That's within the core. So it's like 2:45. I look at my sergeant major. Hey, sergeant major, I'm all caught up. You need me for anything? He's like, nah, man, go ahead, go enjoy your weekend. Call Isaac. I'm like, hey, man, let's go for a ride. He just got a bike. I got a bike. Let's go for a ride. It's a great day. He's like, yeah, man, just come to my house. So I was like, I'll go home and change first. So I get on my bike. I'm driving home, and I'm literally, man, I say about a quarter mile away from my house, and I'm behind a truck. And I don't know about most bikers, but me personally, I didn't like being behind a truck on a bike, especially a big box truck or 18-wheeler, because the driver can't see me. So I instantly shift to the right lane. When I shifted to the right lane, I looked up, the light was red. So I instantly downshifted into neutral and just started coasting. As I got closer, the light turned green, popped it into first, gave it a little gas. As I passed the truck, some guy was making an illegal turn to go into some shopping mall and just took me out. Literally went airborne, landed on the ground. I lost my breath. The crazy thing was I didn't go unconscious. I didn't lose consciousness. And I rolled onto my back, and I didn't want to move because I already knew something. I just felt like something was wrong. So then all of a sudden I start screaming, somebody call 911, somebody call, and no one's responding to me. So I reach into my pocket to pull out my cell phone. All of a sudden I see this guy in OCPs. OCPs is, your military duty uniform. He's like, hey, bro, you're bleeding out really bad. I'm going to put a tourniquet on your leg. I was like, hey, brother, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Put the tourniquet on my leg, on my left leg. Then all of a sudden, two other guys come up next to me. They start talking to me. And they're like, you okay? What's, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Did somebody call 911? They were like, yeah, the ambulance are on the way. First responders are coming. So I was able to dig out my phone. I pull out my phone, and the first thing I do is I call my sergeant major. I'm like, hey, sergeant major. He's like, I'm on the phone, literally on the ground with my cell phone in my hand. They're looking at me like, you're calling somebody? I'm like, yeah, I got to call somebody. So I call my sergeant major. I'm like, hey, sergeant major, I was just in a motorcycle accident. And he's like, are you messing with me, Ruperto? I'm like, no, sergeant major, I am laying on the ground right now with a tourniquet on my left leg. I was in an accident. He's like, where they going to take you? I was like, they're going to take me to Womack. He's like, I'll see you there in 5 minutes. Hang up the phone. Ambulance come. The paramedics looked at me, and he's like, we're going to move you from the ground to the backboard. So we're gonna roll you. You're gonna feel some pain. I was like, all right. As soon as he rolled me, let out that scream because that shit hurt really bad. And then get me on the backboard, and they're dressing me up. They're putting the C collar on my neck. And I look at the paramedic. I'm like, hey, how bad is it? Don't sugarcoat it. How bad is it? He's like, you're probably gonna lose your left foot. So I'm thinking he's telling me worst case scenario. So I'm like, all right, maybe he's over exaggerating, and maybe he's just telling me something crazy. So then get in the ambulance, and they're going to take me to Womack. Now, the funny thing is, I'm in the back of the ambulance. I hear them talking, and it's like, yeah, go through Manchester Gate. Now, if anybody does know, Manchester Gate is a lot further away from Womack if you go through Randolph Gate. If you go through Randolph Gate, you just drive straight, get to that light where Forscom is at, make a right, then make a left, and bam, Womack is right there. No, they wanted to take me through Manchester Gate, where there's nothing but traffic, because at the time where the accident, now mind you, is like 3:15. Everybody's coming home from work. All these places are empty. So um all these places are full, like all these lanes. Like, how? I'm like, no, Randolph Gate. I literally sat up and turned around and looked at the driver. I'm like, no, man, you need to go through Randolph Gate. Don't go through Manchester. Go through Randolph. I'm
So
guaranteed.
you're bleeding out.
And I'm telling the driver where to go.
Directing.
I'm directing traffic. I'm like, bro, you're going to the wrong gate, man. So they get me. Once they got me through, I remember going through the gate, and then I remember them pulling me out. And then after that, I had passed out. I was done. Like, I guess they pumped me some pain meds or whatever, and I was out. I woke up maybe 12 hours later, and I had the what's it called? They intubated me. So I had a tube down my throat. And if anybody knows, when you're waking up and you got this thing down your throat, you start choking on it. And I was gonna try to pull it out, but I guess I set off some alarms. Nurses came in, they pulled it out. And that's the worst thing and the worst feeling, because like you got this thing down your throat, can't breathe, can't talk, it's like it's very constricting, and it was horrible for like the next 6 hours. I couldn't really drink anything or eat anything because my throat was just in pain. So then I'm laying there and I'm watching the news. And mind you, I'm in ICU by myself. My leg is covered, and I'm watching the TV, and they had the news on, the Channel 11 news, and it'll always stick with me. Somebody had got into the same accident as me in Raleigh, North Carolina, a motorcycle, and they showed the bike, looked just like my bike. I had a Road King, 2015 Road King, looked just like my bike. The guy died, didn't make it. So I'm assuming me and him probably got into an accident around the same time. God chose him, and he said, nope, Roberto, you still got work to do. So that always stuck to me, because why me? Why not him? Why me? Why am I still here? Why did God choose me to stay here? So I remember, the chaplain came in. If anybody doesn't know a chaplain, it's like an army priest or whatever denomination. So he comes in, and we started talking, and I told him that story, and he's like, you have a purpose. There's a reason why you're here. God chose you to stay. You have unfinished work. And I started thinking about my kids and my granddaughter, that I really haven't got, my granddaughter, who I really haven't had a chance to spend time with because she's still a baby. But now she knows who grandpa is and everything.
So now during this whole time, you're having a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah, reflection of, of life itself, because now I was like 18 and a half years in, and I was debating if I should retire or not. So I felt like this was almost like a push, like, hey, man, I know this is not the best way to do it, but this is how we're going to get it. We need you to stop, because I always put the Army first. It was mission first, mission first, mission first. Mind you, not to say my family was on the back burner, but they were right next to each other on that same burner. So I was trying to cook at the same, I was, cooking with the Army and cooking with my family at the same time. And I was either burning them or burning something in the Army. And I guess,
time, something had to give.
Yeah, something had to give. So I feel like this was like that final push, like, hey, I know this is not the best way to do it, but you need to slow down. So
do you feel like the accident was a part of your personal growth and kind of building more resiliency?
Yeah, and that's another thing I tell a lot of people too.
Change your perspective on life.
I wouldn't say it changed the perspective, but it reminded me of the resiliency that I had, that I was still able to bounce back from it. And the funny thing is that now I'm a below the knee amputee, 6 inches below the knee. And I say this to everybody. It's 6 inches below the knee, not 6 feet under the ground, because I'm here for a reason. And I'm to me, every morning I wake up is a blessing. Every morning is a blessing. And I thank God every day that I'm still here, that I can spend time with my kids, I can spend time with my grandkids, I can spend time with my girlfriend and her grandkids and her family, and I'm enjoying life now. The accident it was tough in the beginning. Because like I said, I was getting ready to retire. So this kind of like I had all these plans to like, go travel and do all this, which I can still do. And you see, I'm out and about walking and I go to the gym every day and I try to take care of myself, take care of my leg, and it's just it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. And like I said, it's 6 inches below the knee. They even gave me the option when I was in Womack. They transferred me to Walter Reed. If anybody doesn't know, that's the amputee capital of the world. There are the top notch amputee clinic in the world, and it's a naval hospital. That's another thing I learned. I didn't know Walter Reed was a naval installation. That's a naval installation. Food for thought. I didn't know that. I thought it was an army base. Not. So I was there for about 2 weeks, and they were trying to save my foot, but apparently I had got an infection,
Oh wow.
and it was spreading fast, faster than they can clean it. So I remember I'm laying in bed, and like eight white coats came into my room. I was like, oh man, here it is. I got cancer. I got something else is wrong with me
Something
now.
else.
Something else. They just got to put the icing on the cake. What is it? You got 6 months to live. That's when they told me about the infection, and they said you're a prime candidate for a below the knee amputation. We can continue to try to save your foot if you want us to. We can try to save it, but there's no guarantee, because if that infection gets to your knee or past your knee, now you're an above the knee amputee. A below the knee amputation, 6 months, maybe a year to rehab, depending on the person and their mental outlook on life and their ability to bounce back from it. If it's an above the knee amputation, now you don't have a knee. Now you're above the knee. Minimum a year of rehab. Whether you're a stud or a dud, you're gonna be in rehab for a minimum of a year. And now you're learning how to walk again with this new knee that's not even yours, and it's not easy. So then I was like, take the foot. Take the foot. Do what you gotta do. I'm not gonna deal with not having a knee. I felt like I'm already 50, 49 years old, and being a below the knee amputee is gonna be tough. Being an above the knee amputee was gonna be tougher. So I chose the latter. I was like, take the foot. I still got a right foot. I'm good. I can still drive. So it is what it is. I can't. I can probably get on a motorcycle again, but it'd have to have like an automatic transmission, because if anybody knows with your left foot, that's where you're changing the gears. So, but I did that, and then that happened in September of 2022. I was home by December of 2022.
So now with all that happening, all that occurring, so you're close to retirement. You have the unfortunate motorcycle
Hmm.
accident below the
Yeah,
knee amputee. How's your mental health during this whole process?
the
Because now
transition.
you're in Walter Reed, you're laying in the bed, and it's just your mind. You have nothing but time.
Yeah.
So
So
how's your
now,
mental health during this whole?
so I'll never forget. So after they amputated my foot, I couldn't look at it. I didn't. I kept it covered. Every time they came to check and dress the wound or check the wound vac, I would always look up. And when they were done, I was like, "Make sure you cover it, please," and they cover it. It took me about 2 weeks for me to actually look at the residual limb. Then I had a visit from psych, and I found that like, why is psych coming to see me? But then I thought about it. I'm like, hey man, you just lost a limb, bro. Like that can push people over the edge.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as soon as he came in, he introduced himself. I told him straight from the door. I'm like, hey sir, I know you're here because it's protocol, SOP, whatever you guys want to call it here. I ain't gonna kill myself. That's the last. That's not even an option on the table. I'm a little sad, a little depressed. Uh, I wouldn't mind talking to somebody, and he would come visit me every day, and we talked for about an hour. But after that, like I felt like I was good, like mentally good, because I was physically, I was like, I know I could do this. I know I can do this. And once I got my first foot, and I went to rehab for the first time to start learning how to walk with the foot. Um, the first thing they tell you to do is stand on one foot, and but they don't tell you which foot to do it on. They just say stand on one foot. 9 times out of 10, that person's going to stand on their good foot. I stood on my bad foot and lifted my right leg up. So they were like, "You're gonna be one of the good ones." I was like, "Why is that?" And they told me like most people when we say stand on your foot, they're gonna stand on their good foot.
So it's just like a mental
A
thing. You're
mental
going
thing. Yeah.
towards
Yeah. So then
the known good.
I'm standing a good 20 feet away from my physical therapist. She was like, "All right, take a step towards me." I'm in the army, 20 years in the army. What's the first foot you lead with? The left foot.
Hmm.
It's my left foot. So I stepped with my
Push it.
left foot.
You
She's like,
push it
no, step.
forward.
She's like, step with your right. And I was like, ma'am, I've been in the army for 20 years. I start with the left foot. It's gonna be the left foot. So they knew I was gonna be stubborn and they knew I was gonna be able to bounce back from it. So I've been doing really good. It's been 2 years now. Uh, it has its good days, it has its bad days. Um, I've experienced phantom pain on a bad level, but not on a consistent level. Like I've had days where my leg feels great. I have no phantom pain whatsoever. There can be a day when I'm driving home
And it just
from
hits
what
you.
all of a sudden it hits me. But I guess I'm lucky and knock on wood, the pain comes and goes. As fast as it comes, it goes away. It's like a lightning bolt. It just hits and then it's gone. The pain goes away. And I'm part of an amputee group on Facebook and I've read horror stories where people are like, the pain doesn't stop. They're popping pills and all types of craziness. So that's another thing I thank God. I know I lost my foot, but the plus side to it, I don't have that bad phantom pain, and it's I feel like I'm blessed, like I'm good, man. Like even though I don't have a foot, it sounds crazy to say, but I feel like I'm still good, like I'm still me. Like ain't nothing changed. I just don't have a left foot. That's it.
So now with all that being said, if you're going through a lot within the past couple of years, right? How do you find joy and fulfillment currently in your everyday life? Like, I know you go to the gym, but like, what else brings you joy now?
Um. So now,
Military's done.
yeah. So once I had the amputation, they gave me the option to stay in or not. But it's a long process. You got to go through all these fitness tests and whatnots. And I was like, man, I'm 49 years old. I'm about to be 50. Let's just call it a day. I got lucky with my leadership. They let me ride it out so they can drop my med board packet so I can get my 20 years. Because mind you, I was like 18 and a half, almost 19 years. I was right there and I wasn't going to lose that 20-year mark. So they let me stay in. I wouldn't go to work. I would go to physical therapy every day. Fast forward, I get out now. Oh man, when I was getting ready to go get out before my accident, I was like, man, I need to pick up a hobby. I need to do something. And for me, I felt like it's either golf or fishing. That's what everybody does now. They either go golfing, hunting, or fishing. Golf is expensive. That's too. That's senior NCO money. That's sergeant major money and '06 money. I'm like, man, those things are too expensive. I'll try fishing. So now, I like going fishing. Um, and just spending time at home. I'm a stay-at-home boyfriend. Uh, I do the cooking, the cleaning, and taking care of the dogs. And my girlfriend, she's a first grade teacher, and
She's a lucky woman.
yeah, she's. I'm the lucky man, because I met her at my worst. And when I met her, the very, very, very first thing I told her, I was like, "Hey, I am a below the knee amputee. I am not looking for someone to take care of me. I'm looking for a partner." And then from there, it's been a joy. And I thank God. That's another thing I thank God for every day because she's a blessing, man. Like she knows me as me, but this is me as an amputee, you know, and it doesn't bother her one bit. So I'll think about everything that I do still have. Like I still have my life. I'm still able to see my kids and my grandkids and talk to my mom and spend time with my girl and enjoy retirement to the best of my ability, which I think is 99% of my ability, except for that percent that I don't have my foot. But it's I'm not gonna say I have more bad days than good. I have more good days than bad. Um, and as soon as my girl comes home from work, everything goes away. Like I don't think about it no more. Like just seeing her face makes me happy. And then I forget about not having a foot and I'm just happy. So
What advice would you give to your younger self?
man, um, go active duty in '95 like you should have. You would have retired earlier. If you would have made it to 20 years. Not to say you wouldn't have, but if you would have went active duty in 1995, Don't listen to your ex-wife. Don't listen to your mom. Be your own man. Make your own decisions and go active duty.
Is there any advice you have for the up and coming young men and women who aspire to be in the military?
Um, that's a good question. So my girlfriend's son just joined the army. He just graduated basic a few weeks ago, and he's currently in AIT. And he's asked a lot of questions like that. And I told him, like, look, man, find yourself a good mentor. Find yourself a good mentor, a good E5, E6, someone who's got their head on head on their shoulders good, and don't let them take advantage of you. And if you give the army 100%, the army's going to give back to you 100%. So take advantage of all those situations I didn't take advantage of, like getting my degree or the TSP or anything like that. Like he got a letter in the mail about joining the TSP, and he asked me, and I was like, man, I never did it, but you need to do it. You should do it. Here, and I went onto my phone, like I still went into NCO mode and found a YouTube video about TSP because I really didn't know about it. But I wanted to make sure he knew about it and his mom, because his mom asked me questions. And I want to make sure that he's got all the information that he needs. So listen to those NCOs. You're gonna have bad ones and you're gonna have good ones. Learn from the good ones and learn from the bad ones too, because you can learn from those bad leaders on how not to be a bad leader. Like, don't be that guy, you know. So biggest thing is I would say is you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have good days. Hopefully the good days outweigh the bad. And if you give it 100%, it'll give back to you 100%.
Has your faith increased in its magnitude as far as your faith? I'm not sure what denomination you are, but
So yeah, I was baptized Roman Catholic. Um, I believe. I won't say I don't believe. I do believe, but I do have a lot of questions, you know. But at the end of the day, I feel like that's something between me and my God. And when my time comes, and if there is a God, and if he's there, and hopefully he's gonna be like, hey, you did great. You know, there's some things that you shouldn't have did, but you know what? Come on in and enjoy your eternal joy in here and in heaven and whatnot. So hope I'm doing good. I feel like I'm doing good. I changed a lot. I don't drink anymore and I don't party anymore. Maybe that's because of my age and my ailment, but I feel like I've grown a lot. And I what's the word? I thank the army for that. I thank the my accident for that. It made me a better person, made me a more resilient person. Um, and I see that a lot. Like when I go to the gym, I'll see people and they're like, "Oh, we haven't seen you in a couple days. Like you haven't been to the gym." I'm like, "Oh, I had holidays and whatnot." Oh, like I come to the gym because I tell myself, if that guy with the one foot can come to the gym, then I can make it to the gym. There's no reason for me not to be at the gym. If that guy with one foot is here every day at 6 o'clock in the morning, then I should be here at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I feel like I'm inspiring some people. And my girl says it all the time. She's like, your outlook on life is great, because this could have easily threw me into a dark hole, into drinking, popping pills, and blaming everything on the world and blaming, but it is what it is. I've even gotten to the point where I forgave the guy. Like it was an accident, it is what it is. Maybe that truck driver told him, go ahead, go, and the truck driver didn't see me, and we just.
it's a quote I often use: "Difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations."
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's where I'm at right now. I'm in a beautiful destination. I got
So, retirement, what next? What's the next hobby, or is it just kind of chill mode for you?
uh right now is just enjoying life, man. That's it. Enjoy life. Enjoy life, because who knows, after this I might drive home and get into an accident, might not even make it home.
Let's not say that. I hope
But
not.
hey, I feel like enjoy what you got, man, because you never know when it could be taken from you. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's easier to enjoy life than to hate life. Like it's too much work to be mad and always in a pissed off mood, and society. This is fucked up, man. But in my little bubble right now, with my kids and my girl and our grandkids, and everything is great. Everything is great. I try not to let all that what's going on outside interfere in my happiness. Because if I did, then I'd be pissed off, man. I'd be pissed off all the time.
Hey,
Yeah.
Will, I love your level of positivity, brother. I love it, man. So listen, thank you again for
Oh,
this
thank you, bro. I
opportunity.
appreciate it.
I hope we can do it again.
Yeah, man. Maybe we get a little panel going, Isaac and
Definitely.
Chief and
Definitely look forward to it,
all
brother.
right, brother.
All right,
All
man.
right.